All right, I'm going to call the Justice Committee meeting to order. All the members are here. Do we have any appearance by members of the public? We got three, don't we?
Yes, we have 3 requests to speak. Our first speaker is Zach Gittrich. If he could come to the table. And Zach, you'll remember the bottom right button.
To the most honorable and esteemed county board members, I am opposed to the intergovernmental agreement with BPD called EAGLE, though I do admit that is a good acronym because it has all this notion of freedom and patriotism in it, but it's a bird of prey, so very, very apt. There are no specifics on how much it will cost. It's a blank check to the Sheriff's Department. How many calls for service that McLean County deputies respond to actually require a SWAT team in like the last 5 years? And why haven't those numbers been provided? I think because this is just a want. It's not something that we'd like, it's just something we'd like to have. It's not a need. Sheriff Lane has admitted that in public. But we do have needs in this county. We need more mental health workers in the jail. 3.5 is not enough, especially when you just spent $43 million on a new jail. We need more mobile crisis counselors. That's a need. The behavioral health urgent care team only has 8 people that go out on calls. And they don't respond in teams, they respond by themselves. Realistically, they need 15 people to run at good capacity. But even with only 8 people, they are currently answering about 10% of McLean County's calls for service. And they are out there preventing people from ending up in that jail. Because otherwise, the jail becomes the biggest mental health provider, and as Sheriff Lane has himself said, they are not properly equipped to help these people. Mobile crisis response, that's a need. Their starting salary is $33,000, and just 8 of them are responding to 10% of calls for service in McLean County. That saves the county a lot of money to pay off the bonds for that jail expansion you'll never end up using. Thank you.
Go ahead, we have additional speakers, right?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Our next speaker is Matthew Toxo. If he could come up. And you'll have 5 minutes to speak. And Zach was gracious enough to leave the microphone on, so you're ready to go.
Excellent. Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate everything that Zach just said and throw out there that, I'm a member of the Communist Party, but when you look at this, it really doesn't matter whether you're a conservative, whether you're a liberal, whether you consider yourself progressive, or what's that new one, Magadonian or something. Giving the Sheriff's Department a blank check with no specifics as to what the equipment is, what the needs are. He's actually said that a specific need doesn't exist. I believe that was to the McLean County Libertarians, perhaps. It just seems like it really flies in the face of the type of fiscal responsibility, oversight, and leadership that this board was elected to provide. I'd like to see this shot down just on that basic level. Thank you.
And our last speaker is Carla Bailey Smith.
Hello. I am here today simply as a concerned citizen and taxpayer. Our new Sheriff Matt Lane is looking for ways to make his department more efficient and is using the term mutual aid to gain support and funding for a new response team. At first glance, this might seem reasonable. My concern as a McLean County and City of Bloomington taxpayer is that Sheriff Lane is asking for additional funding and training to increase the militarization of our county law enforcement. I do not believe it is fiscally responsible to use funds in this way when each of our municipal police departments have their own response teams and the state police can be called upon for backup in rural areas. I urge this committee and our county board to examine carefully any evidence showing a real need for a newly formed team with new equipment and training, and to initiate a thorough cost-benefit analysis before approving such funding. Across the USA, SWAT teams are most often used in drug raids, often with tragic results in the killing of innocent people, including children. Our country as a whole should not be spending more money on the failed war on drugs. We need to invest more money in rehabilitation and diversion programs. McLean County does not currently have enough resources and infrastructure for mental health services and drug rehabilitation. And I urge you to look at the price tag for what the sheriff is proposing and apply those funds to a better use. If the argument for forming a new SWAT team is to be able to respond to an active shooter situation, I would counter that by asking you instead to fund prevention measures, such as training our law enforcement to fight the proliferation of illegally owned firearms, and to educate the public on how to use the red flag laws that we have in place to remove firearms from those who might harm themselves or others. Additionally, safe storage can save so many lives by keeping guns out of the hands of teenagers and children or from other friends and family. The Bloomington Police Department will be giving away gun safes, and I urge our sheriff to follow that example instead. And I would also ask the sheriff to work to educate the public about guns that are so often stolen out of cars, because stolen firearms are disproportionately used in crimes. So again, in summation, I would really appreciate you all to explore using funds to invest in crime prevention. Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is item 3A, approval of the minutes. We have the April 13th, 2023 special meeting minutes and the May 2nd, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member Abraham, a second by member Roseman Mendoza. Any corrections or additions to the minutes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is item 3B, recommend approval of bills and transfers. I have bills here in the amount of $586,543.88. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member Abraham, second by member Schaefer. Any comments or questions? All right, we're going to be voting on item 3B. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4A, Ron Lewis, Public Defender. We have no items for action, but we do have an item for information. Item 42A is caseload report. Mr. Lewis, is there anything you'd like to say about that?
No, standard monthly report.
Does any member have any questions of Mr. Lewis? All right, seeing none, anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4B, Suzanne Montoya, Court Services Director. We have no items for action, but we do have informational item 4B2. The Court Services Adult and Juvenile Division statistics. Ms. Montoya, is there anything you'd like to say about those?
No, thank you. Just the standard monthly statistics for the department.
Does any member have any questions of Ms. Montoya? All right, anything else you'd like to say?
No,
All right,
thank you.
thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4C, Don Everhart, McLean County Circuit Clerk. We have one item for action, item 4C1A, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement between Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Services in McLean County Circuit Clerk. And can I have a motion to approve? Have a motion by Member Tompkins and a second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Mr. Everhart, would you like to address that?
Well, this is a continuation of an agreement that has been going on since 1999, and it is a grant, a federal grant to the state that they share with the clerks to assist in child support orders. So we do get paid a fee for every child support order, or certain ones that meet Triton criteria for processing those.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll be voting on item 4C1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is item 4C2, the monthly statistical reports of the circuit clerk. Mr. Everhart, anything you want to say about those?
Nothing to add, but I field any questions.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is item 4D1A, Molly Evans, Children's Advocacy Center Director. Ms. Evans could not be here tonight, so our county administrator will take any questions. First item on the agenda is item 4D1A, request approval of an agreement with Sharon Klingman to provide mental health services. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Bell, second by Member Abraham. Any questions? All right, seeing none, we are voting on item 4D1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right. Do you want to discuss her monthly statistics or anything?
You have her monthly statistical report. I will note that 4D2B indicates a job reclassification that will be presented at the Finance Committee meeting tomorrow night. It's related to a job reclassification in a grant position.
Does any member have any questions about the informational items? All right, seeing none, I think we're good on that one. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 4E1A, Matt Lane, McLean County Sheriff. First item on the agenda is item 4E1A, request approval of service agreement with Accurate Controls, Inc. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Tompkins, a second by Member Abraham. Mr. Lane, anything you'd like to say about that?
This is an agreement to maintain the current video system and lock mechanisms we have in the jail and throughout the county building, or the Law and Justice Center. So that's all, just clarifying what it's for.
Does any member, am I on, right? All right, yeah. Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we're voting on item 4E1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is, my understanding is being polled. It's item 4E1B. Is that correct?
Yes, with respect to Mr. Chairman, it's come to my attention that several board members have questions about this. I've only received a few phone calls, but apparently there are a lot of questions. I'd like to have the opportunity to answer those questions and make sure everybody understands my understanding and what this means. So I would like to withdraw that.
All right. I guess we do nothing else on it then, right? That's it. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 4E12, the sheriff's monthly statistical report. Anything you'd like to say about that?
No, sir.
Does any member have any questions about the report? All right, seeing that, anything else you'd like to add?
I was going to report that the jail staffing, correction staffing, I think we've hired a total of 15. Some of those are still in background, so they're not for sure yet. We still have several openings, and we are trying to recruit female corrections officers. We are low on female correctional officers, which poses a problem with time off. We're required to have them for searches and things, and for some housing issues. So we're going to try to start recruiting heavily in that area. Mental health update, right now we have 6 folks unfit to stand trial. We have 2 not guilty by reason of insanity, and all 8 of those are waiting Department of Human Services transfers. We have 3 people who have already been evaluated for fitness and they're awaiting their hearing. We have 2 fitness hearings ordered and that have not happened yet. Department of Corrections, we have, I believe, 5 sentenced inmates that are waiting to go to Department of Corrections, and we're holding 14 that have parole violations and local charges. So are there any questions about those, sir?
Does any member have any questions? Member Bell.
How many female officers have gone through background checks and have received their uniforms and started their first day on the job?
I don't know that I have that information. I'd like to be accurate when I respond to you.
Okay,
I don't have that breakdown in front of me.
okay. What I would like from you, Sheriff, is that it was reported to me that you had an individual female that started the first day and she lasted less than an hour. And she was heard by the other employees saying that this is a racist place.
No, I don't know who that female is or what you're speaking of.
Well, I would like to reach out to the public to find out if she's out there, because it is a hard job to go through background checks, to get your uniform, to be issued things, and to come in and say that they could not work at this place. We've asked you to hire more people, and it doesn't look good for us to waste tax dollars like this.
Ms. Bell, everyone that I know of that has left the county in short order has been asked why. That answer has not been reported back to me, ever.
Well, I'm hoping that I can get that information, who this young lady is, okay? She's out there somewhere, and it saddens me that whatever happened on her first day, she did not fulfill her shift and her obligations to serve for 8 hours that she's supposed to be serving. Thank you.
I would say here that if you do have questions about things that aren't in the statistical report, you can reserve them for other. I've always allowed people on this committee to ask questions, and I've always allowed the sheriff to respond. So, I would prefer that we always keep our questions committed to what's on the agenda, and if you have something else you'd like to address, please address it under other.
The chair, this was about statistics and employment, and I did not do it out of order. He was telling us how many people are hired, how many he needs, and female officers. So this female officer walked out the first hour.
And
Thank you.
Member Bell, I did not say that you did. I said as an item for information, that's the way I will conduct the meeting. All right,
Thank you, Chair.
you're welcome. All right, anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4F, Will Scanlon, Circuit Clerk. He's not here, is he? Okay. All right, so we're going to pass that one up. All right, he doesn't have anything anyway. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 4G, Kathy Yoder, McLean County Coroner. We have no items for action. We do have the coroner's monthly report. Ms. Yoder, anything you'd like to say about that?
No, but I'll take questions.
Any questions?
Sure.
All right, so anything you'd like to add? Oh, I didn't see you, Member Schaefer. Go ahead.
It is my understanding that the suicide rate has increased, and
Correct.
is that, are they intentional, or are there more accidental overdoses type thing?
Well, suicide by manner, so there's 5 manners of death, right? So it's homicide, suicide, accidental, natural, or undetermined. So if they've been deemed suicide, suicide by definition is taking your own life, right? So if the suicide rate is up, whether it's overdose, they're all intentional. Sorry, not to split hairs, but those have been deemed intentional deaths.
So,
I never explained the method.
so has there been an increase in overdose deaths?
Has there been an increase? Not, it's not statistically relevant or statistically increased compared to other counties. So, and it's not statistically increased for McLean County, although we still have many overdose deaths. The only difference from the time when I first started as coroner, it used to be methadone, hydrocodone, those type of things. Now it's fentanyl, 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 fentanyl. So the what they think they're buying perhaps on the street is actually fentanyl. It's a drug mixed with fentanyl, and the fentanyl is the one that actually they've succumbed to, rather than previous it was methadone, hydrocodone, those type of things. So it's a little bit different that way. So the drugs are more powerful. If that helps. Does that answer your question?
Does any member have any other questions of the coroner? Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
No? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda is item 4H, Erica Reynolds, McLean County State's Attorney. We have no items for action. We do have an item for information. The State's Attorney's caseload and forfeiture fund reports. Ms. Reynolds, would you like to address that?
I don't have anything to add. This is just the standard report.
Does any member have any questions? All right, anything you'd like to say?
I would just like to announce that the civil first assistant, Chris Spanos, has put in his notice. His last day will officially be Friday. So starting Monday, Trevor Sierra will take his position. He has been with the office for several years. He was previously in the civil division and also intern within that division, so he does have some experience. Specifically over there, it was just a different group of people that he worked with, but he will start Monday, so the county won't see a gap in services from that position. That, of course, has created a domino effect in their criminal division.
Would Mr. Sierra just like to stand up and say something? I mean, all right, well, that's good enough then. We like it short and concise around here. All right. Well. All right, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is Cassie Taylor, County Administrator. You don't have anything. You have anything you want to say?
I have nothing to present to this committee. Thank you for the
All right.
opportunity.
All right, next item on the agenda is other business and communication. Anybody? Would just like people to remember that today is the, I don't know what anniversary it is of D-Day, which was on June 6th of 1944. My father was a D-Day veteran. He did land at Omaha Beach on this day with the 1st Infantry Division. So it's always had some significance for me. So just hope everybody remembers that this is the, I don't know, 90th. I don't know. I'm making it up, but it's a 79th. All right, 79th remembrance of D-Day. So, Ms. Bell, Member Bell, you want to say anything?
Well, this is a little personal. Someone I know and care about. It's her birthday, and it's 6646. So, do the math, okay?
All right. Do note, wait a minute, anything else on other business and communication? All right, next item here is our next meeting is not on Tuesday. You can come here if you want, but there won't be anybody here. It'll be the 4th of July. So, but we are meeting on Wednesday at 5:30 on July 5th, okay? So Wednesday, July 5th is our next meeting.
5:30, which would be a change in time too.
Yeah, the day is changed and the time is changed. So just make sure you put that on your calendars that way. And I think we are adjourned. Thank you.